What's up, y'all? It's your girl T. Louise, and you are tuned in to Twisted 20s. Today's podcast is sponsored by my company, The Major Comeback. We specialize in apparel dedicated to giving yourself a major comeback in every aspect of your life, and you can check out some of our merch at themajorcomeback.com. So before I start this episode, I want y'all to know that this podcast is not about, you don't have to have a business to understand this podcast. This podcast episode today is about simply turning your passions into income. So first, I want to let y'all know, I started the Major Comeback last year. And I'm not no business guru, okay? I'm just somebody that started a business, and I'm simply going through the struggles, the highs, the lows, all of it. So, I started my business last year, and originally I wanted my business to be a plus size boutique t-shirt brand because, me being a plus size girl, I understand the ins and outs and the struggles of shopping as a plus size girl. And so, it wasn't until later on down the road, God was like, no, I need this to be something else. I need you to motivate people to live in their purpose, to find their true selves. And so I'm trying to transition my business from being a plus size girl to basically a motivated, purpose living brand, because I want Major Comeback to be when someone puts on a shirt that they bought from me, or some pants, a shirt, whatever it may be, I want them to know that it doesn't matter if I've been homeless. It doesn't matter if I've been addicted to drugs. It doesn't matter if I have $0 to my name. It doesn't matter if I've been abused, molested, cheated on, lied to, raped. It don't matter what you've been through. You have a purpose, and you need to live up to that purpose by any means necessary. And so that is why I'm so passionate about Major Comeback, because I am trying to give actually I'm not trying anymore. I am giving myself a major comeback. And I feel like I'm only living up to my purpose at the surface. Because I'm only at the beginning. Where I'm going to be 6 months from now, a year from now, wherever God takes this purpose that I'm assigned to is going to be mind blowing. And so, the first thing I would say, if you are trying to fulfill your purpose or your passion, make sure it is a passion. And so, when you're trying to turn your passions into some coins, it's hard, okay? You gotta know, sometimes you gotta know people. Start with your family members, sell to your family members, sell to your friends. But make sure it's a passion. I had my little sister call me a couple weeks ago, and she was like, hey, I need your help. I was like, what's up? And she was like, I want to sell some stuff. And I'm like, well, what do you want to sell? And she was like, I don't know. I just want to sell something. And so I knew right then and there she wasn't motivated about it. She just wanted to sell something because she felt like everybody else was selling something, and she wanted to make money. And so when it really gets hard, if it's not a passion, you're going to give up. And I know when I first started my business, I started my business back in October. I didn't make I started my business in November. I didn't make my first sale till January. So I went 2 months without having a sale. And then after my first sale, I went another few months without making a sale. And like, truth be told, y'all, I think I had my first huge sellout on my birthday. I did my birthday sale, $10 sale. Everybody was buying shirts, multiple shirts at one time. So that was probably the largest sale I have seen since I started my business. And so that was a high moment for me. I won't say it was very high because I will say this, it was my first high moment. I got a taste of what it felt like to have orders coming in back to back. And so that was a very good moment for me. That was another milestone I would consider in my entrepreneurship journey. Um, and for those of you who don't know, like, I started being an entrepreneur because I just never have felt fulfilled at any of the jobs I've worked at. Um, I've done, I've worked at Rue 21. I've worked in healthcare. I've worked at McDonald's, Forever 21, not Forever 21, Charlie Roos. So I've had several jobs, Old Navy, and I just never have felt fulfilled at those jobs. I tried to stay in retail and fashion because that was something I had a passion for. As a kid, I used to design my own clothes and things like that. So I've always had a passion for clothes and things like that. I just never have had a real big budget for clothing. And so that leads me into step two. You always need to create a budget for yourself. If you know you want to turn your passion into some coins, if you want, let me stop saying coins, because we're not trying to get no coins over here. We're trying to get bags, okay? So if you're trying to turn your passion into your main source of income, create a budget for yourself. You have to have a budget. You have to know what's going in, what's coming out. How much is it going to cost to get, like for me, for example, how much is going to cost per shirt? How much is going to cost to get printed up? Am I going to buy my shirts wholesale, or am I going to let the printer get the shirt and just pay them the extra money? Which would be cheaper? Whatever is affordable for you. Create a budget for yourself. And then you want to be organized and you want to do your research. With me, when I started my t-shirt brand, I was very unorganized. I was really all over the place. I didn't really do my research on a lot of things. So I was kind of all over the place when it came to printers and shipping and stuff like that. But now I'm more organized with my business, and I'm really hands-on with my business. I like to do everything myself. I made my own thank you cards. If you've ordered from the Major Comeback, I put a motivational note on there on the back of the thank you card, appreciating and thanking everybody for purchasing from the Major Comeback. I print my own shipping labels. I package everything myself. So I'm very passionate about my business. I do everything hands-on. So those are I would definitely say that be organized and research, create a budget, make sure it's your passion, something you really want to do. I will also say stay motivated. It is very, very hard sometimes to stay motivated, but I like to always look on Pinterest. Pinterest always keeps my creativity flowing. I like to look on there for office ideas or modeling or anything I'm trying to like learn about or I'm trying to dib and dab in. I'll look on Pinterest for. Two, prayer. God will keep you motivated, okay? Because if the vision and the purpose is for you, he will never let you forget that. He will never let that vision go away. And every time I may feel discouraged, every time I may feel like I want to give up, I'm like, God will always come into my mind and be like, remember where you started? Like, I remember where I started, and like, I'm looking at like the things I've done now, and it's tremendous. So, and another way to stay motivated is keep track of your goals, keep track of your milestones. If every month your goal is to make $500, $200, come up with a plan to accomplish that goal. You can't make $200 from your business if nobody knows about it. And I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to me too. Because sometimes I be slacking. Like, I really do be slacking sometimes. And so that's why I wanted to create this podcast episode, because if there are people out here that are trying to turn their passion into finance, stay motivated. Keep track of your goals, your milestones, create a budget, be organized, and do your research. And stay motivated, because never give up on your dreams. It don't matter how small or big they are. Never give up on your dreams. You were given that idea, that dream for a reason, because the way I see it is, if this idea wasn't for me, if it wasn't for me to start a podcast, if I wasn't supposed to start a business, I would have never got those ideas to begin with. God wants you to use those ideas. God wants you to pursue those ideas that he has placed in your life, because he's already paved the way for us. I tell people that all the time, like, why are you afraid to take risk if God has already paved the way for you? It may not be easy, but I know that the road I was living on before this was way harder than the road I'm on now. So it's like, would you prefer to live on the struggling road you're on now, or struggle and get to success? And so that's kind of a little bit of my entrepreneurship journey. I know I'm talking kind of fast. So I'm trying to think about what else I can tell y'all. I feel like I done rushed and said everything so fast, but okay. You know what, y'all? Sometimes, you know, being an entrepreneur is not all peaches and cream. You know, you gotta put in the work to see the progress. And you know, I have several times where I cry in silence. I've cried in silence before, because it's like, man, like, I want this so bad and it's not working out, but it's like, I have to keep pushing. I can't give up. And so, you know, as an entrepreneur, anybody trying to pursue their passions, I will just say this: never give up. Your time may not be now, but your time is coming. It may not be when you want it to come, but never give up on your passions. Never give up on your dreams, because you were given those dreams and those passions for a reason. It's up to you to continue to use them and bless others pursuing a business. Or if y'all, first of all, y'all, I'm opening up my emails to y'all. Y'all can email me at IamTLouise. That is IamTLouise@themajorcomeback.com. Y'all can email me. I'm opening up my emails to my listeners. If y'all want to give me feedback, anything y'all want to hear me talk about on my podcast, please do not hesitate to email me. If you just want somebody to talk to, email me. I'm always here to talk to people, to listen, to be that shoulder to cry on. It don't matter what it is. Please feel free to email me. I will put my email in the link. You will see it in the description below of my podcast episode. If you need anything, if you want to give me feedback, if you want to let me know what you want to hear on my podcast, feel free to email me. My email is open. And so I just want everyone to know that I love you guys. Continue pursuing your passions. Continue pursuing your dreams. Just because we in a pandemic don't mean give up on yourself. Okay? And with everything being said, I love y'all. Peace, love, blessings. T. Louise.